What's good, hustlers? Back at you guys with another video. So, we've got a special guest with us. I'm here with Mr. Sam, and our special guest is going to be talking to us about his journey, his experience doing business with DLA, and sharing some insights with us, kind of from his time in the space. So, Sam, do your thing, my man.
Yeah, pleasure to be here back once again. And we're joined with Lennox. It's great to have you here, brother. Quickly, just out the gate, give us an introduction about yourself and then tell us how you got into government contracting.
Cool, cool, cool. So glad to be here, brothers. Thankful for this opportunity. So a little bit about myself. I'm gonna just start how I got into government contracting. Got into government contracting because I worked in cybersecurity. Worked in cybersecurity, started going to conferences. At a technology conference, I met a guy named Eric Coffey. Eric Coffey, it was a panel breakout. He just mentioned it was probably about 30 minutes. He mentioned government contracting, and I happened to be in the military at the time. And I was like, government contract, military. I was like, nah, I don't think I want to do it because dealing with the military, you're just kind of skeptical about anything dealing with the government. So eventually I just started following him. He told me to come to his conference. Went to his conference down in Miami, got some good information. Day was there, sat in Dave's class, talking about DLA, and I was like, nah, I can do this. So took it from there. That was last October. Got to it around January, I would say. Had to get my account set up and everything, uh, just to just to get the start going. So got the course, got Dave's course, started studying, just went all in for it, and then I've been doing it ever since. So to this day, I have about 17 contracts that I've been awarded.
Oh
Um,
shit, that's news to me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's been rolling, but it's just trying to get into selling different things. I've been dealing with one manufacturer right now, so I'm trying to see what other manufacturers I can get into, and then so yeah, that's how it's been so far, and yeah.
Okay. And you said you like got it rolling in like January. So when did you like start like bidding?
So I started bidding it. I bid it in I want to say the end of January, either it's like mid January or the end of January.
Okay. Okay.
So I did that. It took about maybe a month for me to win my first contract.
Got you. Got you. Um, and you said it took you about like a month, so like about like 30 days. Wait, one second. Is there like an echo in
Yeah,
somebody's
definitely is.
Is it?
um let's see if I okay.
Yeah,
Did
that's
it
better.
go away?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. We're back. All right. So it took you about a month to win your first contract
Yep.
after you went through everything, which is good because that's what we want. We want you guys in under 45 days. And then since then, like what's been the split, right? Because you said you had 17 and it's been about what? Now we're in August. So let's just say end of January, so like basically February to August. So it's been about 6 months. So
Right.
like on average, that's like three contracts a month. But has that been the split? Was it like a bunch of contracts all at once? Was it like a couple consistently a month? Like what's been the split?
So I would say I want to say one time the most I ever won in a month was maybe four or five.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But other than that, they have been split up. So it'll be I'll win two, and then it'll go 2 or 3 weeks, and then you've been awarded, and then next thing you know, another day later, I might be awarded another one. And then I actually got one today,
Let's go.
for a what do you call it? The extended trace. They wanted me to extend
Mhm.
my quote and then provide traceability. So that was today. But the most I would say 4 or 5 in a month.
Solid, solid, solid. So you're rolling at a pretty nice consistent pace. So at this point it's just about scaling. All right, cool. I would
Yes.
just like to ask that question just to kind of give like the viewers context, right? Because everybody we can learn something from everybody like, as they're talking and they're talking about their experience, but it's just good to know like, hey, what's been the timeline that this person's accumulated their experience, right? And then maybe they're on a heater and they've won, most of their contracts within the last couple months, or maybe they've been pretty steady, right? So that I always just like to ask that question just to provide context. But yeah, I'm gonna toss it back to Sam.
Cool.
Yeah, so Lennox, for you, just so the people watching got a bit more understanding about who you are and your situation, what was life like before you got into government contracting?
So before government contracting, I like talking about this.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so before government contract, as I mentioned, I was in the military, and I was on the way to transition out of the military, but I was wanted to get into cybersecurity. So I had got an internship in cybersecurity. It ended last August. So after last August, I had to find a job, but I was like, man, I can be free. I can find out what I really want to do now because I had some good money, decent money saved up from working cybersecurity. So like, let's see what I want to do. I'm only 22. I was only 22 at the time. So I was like, man, I can go find me something to do. Started going to traveling, going to conferences. That's when I met Eric. So I would say it was just more like a curiosity of like, what can I really do besides cybersecurity? Like, I don't want to work in the field forever. I want to be free. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. So that was my mindset, and just knowing I had to take action or going places, meet different people, and now, I would say to this day now, I've met tons of people that do government contracting that I never knew to do government contracting, and it's opened my eyes to like the opportunity that many people don't know about. And it's been great, man. It's just I would say it's definitely not easy. It's just a steady grind, just like anything else. You got to work for it. But my life now it's totally different. It's just as far as being free. You know what I mean? Being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. But now it's all about scaling. Like how can I grow the business? How can I grow my business? How can I collaborate with other individuals who are doing what I'm doing to get to where I want to be?
And saying how
Oh shoot.
you feel a lot more,
Accidentally
you feel a lot more
to mute
free.
yeah, the echo. But yeah, no, that's good. I always like hearing that. Sounds like you were in a good position, and then you were kind of figuring out,
Yeah,
what direction that you wanted to do. But I think the biggest takeaway from that is like you mentioned it yourself, like taking action, like actually going out and meeting people, going to conferences, exposing yourself to different things. Because
right.
especially like the last interview that we had, also a young dude, right? So you're a young guy, like we're all young guys here, and I think young people have like a sometimes after you finish like either the military or college, or you finish playing a sport or something, right? You're like, okay, what do I want to do? And a lot of times people are like, okay, I don't know what I want to do, but nobody I don't say nobody, but most people don't really take action in terms of like putting themselves out there and exposing themselves to different things to actually figure out, oh, do I like this or do I want to go back to cybersecurity? So I think the biggest takeaway from that is like taking, even though you weren't in the government contracting space before, but you didn't know where you wanted to go, you were
Yeah,
still like, okay, let me take action. Let me go get my ass on a plane,
right.
go in a conference, listen and learn about different things, and then figure out like, if that's the way that I want to go. So I think that's a
Exactly.
really good takeaway from that.
Definitely, definitely.
And for you, Lennox, what was before you made the jump, and like from all the kind of research you were doing, meeting people before you started to work with us, what were some of your biggest concerns before you made that decision?
I would say some of my biggest concerns before working with the company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with us.
Probably like, is it gonna work? Because if it's something new, you'd be like, that's just like an automatic mindset. Like, is it really gonna work, or it's like, is the course really worth it? But then you just gotta, you just take that leap of faith, or you take that risk, and you just find out. Because you only gonna get in what you put out. So whatever you put in, you're gonna get
Mm,
out. So I would say that just about it. Because I knew I put the work in. It's just like, is it really gonna work? That's all it really was, and it's
mm,
been working. So no complaints.
You get out what you put in. So I mean, I think that maybe gave you some confidence when you were like, listen, as long as this methodology works, as long as this business model works, I know I'm gonna take the steps that I need to see the fruits of my labor. So I think that's a really good way of looking at it. Is like, as long as the business model works, I know I can make it
Exactly.
work, kind of thing.
Exactly. That's exactly what that's my exact thoughts. If it's a blueprint out there, I can follow the blueprint. And then once the blueprint works, just keep going with the
All
blueprint.
you needed was the method. You just
That's
needed
it.
the method.
That's it.
mm. And
That's it.
besides, obviously, you knew you had the work ethic, you had the drive to make this work. Was there anything else that like made you believe in us and decide to do it anyway?
Say that again.
So in terms of when you chose to work with us, to give you the method, give you the blueprint, was there anything else that made you decide you wanted to do it? Besides the fact of, you got the work ethic, but was there anything you felt with us that helped you have that belief to go ahead and do it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would definitely say once I went to the conference in Miami and Dave was giving a presentation, breaking everything down, it was more like yeah, just do it. It's a young guy. You know what I mean? He was younger than well, he is younger than me, so he was younger than me and he was doing it. I was like, man, like he's giving a blueprint. Like I definitely can do it. Like not down and day, but just like if somebody young can do it, why can't somebody that's young as well do it too? So once I seen that, it was just more of like getting more accustomed, learning. I did more research again. After you get some information, you want to do some more research, and then you dive into it. But after that, I was all in. It was just a matter of time of when I would purchase the course and when I would just decide to fully go all in on it.
For sure, for sure. So since then, where we are now, the contracts you've won, where's your company now? What's
Mhm.
changed for you and your company and your life? And how have you scaled from the beginning?
Got you. So as far as this is where I'm at in the business right now. I'm winning. As I mentioned, I won about 17 contracts, but none of them have been like huge contracts to where like it can be life-changing money, you know what I mean? But it's enough. I'm not gonna say it's enough, but it's put me in the space to know that I can do it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's put me in the
Get
space
that
to
proof
know
of
that
concept.
I need to apply. Yeah, I know. So this is what I'm gonna say. I know how to package now. Like I can package good. Like I know if I see the qualifications for the package, I can spit it. I can read it in my mind. Like already know what it is. So that's the case. I know how to ship fast. I can get it out the door in 3 days once I get the product. Like it's very simple. So I what I did was crack down on the process. So I've been working on the process, getting the basics down pat. So I haven't really been worried about the revenue. But I've been working with the same manufacturer for since I started. So it's just about scaling. Like what manufacturer will sell to me so I can sell to the government. That's where I'm at in the business right now.
Got you. I mean, I think one thing to take away though is like, I mean, for only being in business for like 6 months, I know you mentioned you're like, yeah, it's not life-changing money, but I mean,
Yeah.
you got the process down packed and you've done 17 transactions with the U.S. Department of Defense. Like,
Right.
that's something, you can hang your hat on. That's definitely something to be proud of. And I mean, in it, like in anything in life that's worth doing, it does take time.
Mhm.
But I mean, 6 months, I don't think it's anything to feel ashamed of where it's like, yeah, I'm not making life-changing money. Like for context, like Two Lines Aerospace, we weren't profitable for 3 years. Like we were not taking profits as like owners of the business for like three years. Now, granted, that's because like we want to take care of our employees. We get lunch every Fridays. We take them on company trips, and we would always reinvest the money into the business to go and scale and stuff. But we were not profitable for 3 years. So just to like give you and then like other viewers like perspective on like how long like this thing really takes, and then like even like myself as an entrepreneur, bro, this is like my 6th year of being an entrepreneur, and this is the first time that I'm like, oh shit, okay, I'm kind of starting to figure it out. And like now I know how to allocate monies and I know how to use leverage and scale, right? So I mean, for where you are at 6 months versus where we were at 6 months, bro, it's like night and day. And 4 years later, we're doing 20 plus million in revenue, but we couldn't hold a candle to where you were after 6 months. So I mean, I think as long as you just stay in the game and then like you said, you just master those basics and implement those processes, I think you're in a good spot. Especially because now you mentioned, okay, now you're trying to scale because your processes are in place. When it's time to bring on other people, you're just going to be like, here, this is what I did. Just follow the same exact thing. So I think
Yeah,
you're in a really, really good spot.
definitely. I agree, man. It's all about the just getting the systems in place. That was my biggest thing. Just so if when I have the chance to hire employees, it'll be easy for them to follow the blueprint. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have to be too. Of course, there's still gonna be problems in the business, but they have a blueprint they can follow. So that was my whole thing.
Yeah, that's cool. And what else? What are some of the most important things you've learned on this journey, Alex?
I would say definitely you have to be resilient. It's gonna be some days, man, you're gonna be thinking, why am I an entrepreneur, or what am I
It's
thinking,
what we
or
sign up for.
yeah, yeah. So it's just keeping that faith, keeping that drive. I wouldn't even say stay motivated because motivation goes away. It's all about
Mm,
being disciplined. Like you
mm,
need for one, I would say develop the systems. The systems is going to help you a lot. What else can I say? I would say definitely surround yourself around other entrepreneurs because it will get lonely, but when you get around other entrepreneurs, it's not so lonely because they
mm,
understand you. They understand what's going on in your day to day. Even if y'all don't do the same business, they just understand entrepreneurs have similar problems. So
mm,
that's been my biggest takeaway. Just going at it every day. Don't worry about yesterday. Just focus on today and don't even worry about the future. Just worry about the present.
mm.
So staying grounded, man, and just constantly going at it. That's
Clip
what I
that. Clip that, chat. Clip that. Don't worry about what the fuck happened yesterday. Don't worry about what the fuck you got going on tomorrow. Worry about what you got going on today. Solve
exactly.
today's problems. Make the money that you can make today. And then once you go to bed, then you start worrying about the stuff for
Yeah.
tomorrow. But
It seems to
I
be a
think
running
that's
theme.
really solid.
Seems to be a running theme with when we were speaking to Davis on the last interview, he was saying like just focus on today, like win the day, like you said, like if it's a Wednesday, win Wednesday, then win Thursday, and then you lift your head up. I don't know, 6 months later, and all of a sudden you've got 17 contracts. So you all of a sudden you understand the process. All of a sudden you're ready to scale. Like that's how business works, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's a grind. It's a grind. Like we're not here to glamorize this and then make it seem like sexy. Like the internet definitely does that. Like TikTok does that.
Instagram is
YouTube
all
does
of that.
that. Like Instagram does that, and like I can't sit up here and lie and act like I don't contribute to that because at the end of the day it's marketing and you got to build like your brand and you got to get in front of people and then nobody ever wants to buy something from somebody who's like is struggling or can't keep their head on their shoulders. So you got to as an entrepreneur you got to be like, listen, I got it. Like I'm gonna take the brunt of these problems. I'm gonna make it work. But it's like the nitty gritty is not glamorous. Like this, the kind of like victory laps, as I like to call them, like Lennox being able to come on and talk about his experience 6 months later. It's cool now that he gets to do it, but like the 6 months beforehand, this is like 0.00001% of all the work that he put in. So now he gets to sit up here and then tell you guys his story and talk to everybody that's gonna watch this. But the majority of the time, bro, you're just grinding like head down, and it's just like you said, like questioning, like, did I make the right decision? Like, why am I doing this? Is this the right business model? Like, do I just roll over, cut my losses, and move on, kind of thing? So, yeah, entrepreneurship is cool if you're gonna stay in the fight long enough. You take enough punches, then eventually learn how to start punching back. But for the most part, even once you do learn how to start punching back, it's still a grind. It is still a grind.
Yeah, and what I like to say is like a lot of times, you would say, how do I do this? Or how do I do something, whatever. But I just reverse it and say, what do I need to do? Like if the government says it needs to be packaged in so and so, you're gonna say, well, how am I gonna do it? No, you need to figure out what you need to do to package it in this product to get them their product. So that's transforming your mind too. That's a big thing as well.
Yeah, transforming the way, like the perspective in which you approach problems.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing, and I think the success that you have in term whether you want to measure that by contracts or revenue, both equally valuable metrics of success. It's literally just an indicator of like how well you are able to solve problems. Because you can get a contract, win it, and then you have to cancel it because you're like, I'm not equipped to solve it. But being able to be like, I can successfully deliver on this over and over and over again, it's literally just like a metric, like a measuring stick of like, okay, how well am I able to solve problems? And I think that's really what growth is as an entrepreneur is like, okay, I'm just now able to take on like bigger problems. Like Alex Hormozy, I quote him a lot, and he's always like, in the beginning, you are fighting. He's like in the beginning, you're fighting like your like enemies or like baby dragons, and it's just you and a stick. When you have no XP, like you haven't leveled up. And then
Yeah.
eventually you start fucking slaying like big ass dragons, and that the dragon is bigger, the dragon's more dangerous, the problem is more serious. Like if you don't get that problem solved, then you go out of business. But now you've got a sword, you've got a shield, you've got armor, you got people in your back pocket that can help you out. And that is literally from like gaining that experience of being able to solve problems. So I think that's like the real like journey of like an entrepreneur.
Definitely. I agree.
And staying on the theme of, being in the fight, doing the dirty work, if you will, were there any other challenges that you faced, Lennox, or any hurdles that you had to overcome?
Yes, I would say so. I want to go back to like packaging. So when my first couple of contracts, they were all mill standard packaging, and I was thinking like, what do I need to do? But I realized I had to um get like certain wrapping paper, certain bags, that the military wants, as well as even the sealer. Like I didn't think one of my first contracts, it needed to be heat sealed, and I didn't have a heat sealer. So what I did was I improvised. Um, so I got the bags, and I got aluminum foil paper, and I used my iron, and I sealed the bag. But it worked. It worked. Yeah,
Problem solving, bro.
Sign
Problem
of a good
solving. I
entrepreneur.
bet you they cut it and you got paid on it though. I bet you they paid you for it though.
exactly, exactly. But so after that, I was thinking, yeah, I could just go buy me a heat seal. It was like $30, but at the time, I was just thinking like, let me just try it out, cause see if it actually heat seal, and it did. So I would say packaging wise, with the meal standard, just getting all the products that I need to get. Of course, you're gonna need the things to put the supplies in, or but you don't think about that. You just think you're gonna get the package in ASTM and that's it. But no, it's meal standard comes with a lot. Not I'm not gonna say a lot, but more than what you would expect. So that would probably be my biggest problem that I had to solve, because I solved it.
For sure, for sure. So, 17 contracts later, Lennox, what's next for your company? What's next for you?
So next, as I mentioned, I'm in the phase of scaling. I need to right now. I'm looking for. I want to stick to. I want to find a company that I can sell. I want to find a manufacturer that I can stick with, that I can build a relationship to just only sell their products, and just stick to one cage code, so that way I don't have to get 1,000 quotes from 1,000 different manufacturers all in one day, because that's just it's time consuming. But if I can get one manufacturer and just
Mm.
constantly get quotes on a daily basis, then I feel like it's more efficient. So still building out a system to find a manufacturer that allow me to sell whatever product it is. I've been looking at construction products. I've been looking at kitchen utensils,
I'll give you
washers.
a freebie. Welding. I think we talked about the welding stuff in the power tools.
I'm pretty sure we did. I haven't got to the yet. I've been thinking about just like what I said, the
The construction stuff.
yeah, the construction.
I'll tell you though, I'm sure it's got to be a lot easier for you now to go in and like have a conversation with these people because you can use your experience as a bargaining chip and be like, listen, I've already done this 17 times. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not some like Joe Blow, like rookie off the street that's like, yo, bro, please help me out. Like, I don't add any value. Because one of the biggest things that I tell people when they're like, how do I build that relationship with a manufacturer distributor is like, listen, when you come in and you have like that back to that example of slaying the dragon, but you just have a stick, it's like you have no experience points, right? So that company's life gets better by working with you, but or I'm sorry, your life gets better by working with that company, but that company's life doesn't get better by working with you. But
right,
in Lennox's experience, is like, okay, I've done this 17 times. I've seen a bunch of the stuff that there is to see. Now, if that company doesn't want to do business with the government because they're like, oh, it's too complicated or the paperwork or the packaging, Lennox can then go in there and then be like, okay, I've done this. I have those experience points. I know what it takes to actually do this. So I can make that company's life better by doing the stuff they're not willing to do because I can prove to them I've already done it. So now their life gets better because I do the stuff they don't want to do, and my life gets better because now I have somebody's stuff that I can sell, kind of thing. So I think that's one of the big things that you want to be considering is like, how can you make somebody else's life, better as a byproduct of, interacting with them.
Gotcha. So you're saying use my experience and then use my experience as a way in the door to, well, leverage my experience to, got you. Yeah, okay, okay. I never thought about that one. As far as talking to different manufacturers, I was just thinking that would be like, because you run into some that's just like, no, no, no,
Listen,
no.
it's a bargaining chip. Like,
Yeah.
don't the one thing that I learned, and it was from a book, from Judy Brandt, actually. She's another government contracting like specialist, but she's in the services side. And she talked about, she's like, listen, when you are approaching companies, don't lead with what you want. That's the worst thing you could do. Then don't lead with what you are. Like, don't lead with like, oh, I'm a veteran or I'm a minority or I'm a small business. Lead with what you do. Lead with the fact is like, listen, I've successfully already conducted 17 transactions with the Department of Defense. I'm looking for more stuff to sell. That's a lot more appealing as a business owner than like, yo, bro, can I sell you? Can you give me a quote? It's like, for what, bro? What the fuck am I gonna allow you to sell my shit for when I got somebody else selling my stuff? Well, how do you make my life better? But when you lead with that, it's like, listen, this is now my bargaining chip. And then as a byproduct, it's like, oh, I'm also a veteran. I'm also a small business. I'm also a minority kind of thing. Then it's like just icing on the cake kind of thing. But you have a bargaining chip that so many other companies don't have.
Yeah. Another gym.
Clip that, clip that, clip that, chat, clip that. Sam, you're muted. You're muted. Sam, you're muted. You're muted. You're muted. We're minimizing the echo here. And honestly, I know it's like my fault because I have both of my phones right
Did
next to
you
the
did you
computer,
mute
so it's
me?
like
I don't remember clicking it. Did you mute me?
I did mute you, but you
Oh,
can unmute yourself. But yeah, I'm trying to be professional as possible.
Yeah, yeah, it's a professional operation we're running here. Lennox, final question for you, sir. What would you tell someone who may be on the fence, not really sure what direction to go, but is considering getting started with the DLA and considering getting coaching? What would you tell those people?
Just do it. Simple as that. It's not, just do it. Like it's
Yeah, I was
not,
gonna say
oh,
just
that's
like stay shut.
crazy. But nah, literally just do it. It's not nothing nobody can't do. And it's not nothing that anybody can't do. And it's a market full of opportunities. Several
Mm.
opportunities out there. Opportunities that don't get bidded on. I've ran into contracts that have no history available, and they give you the approved source. Like you just have to do it. Like take some time to study. It shouldn't, I mean, it doesn't take that long if you put in the work. I can say if you do like an hour a day, you can be rolling, submitting contracts within that week, maybe
An
before that.
hour a day, bro. He's telling you the method. Block out an hour of your day. Y'all scroll on Instagram and TikTok for an hour before you go to bed, doing nothing, not making no bread, watching everybody else, scrolling, watching other people talk about how they're making money. If you put your phone on Do Not Disturb, take an hour a day and just watch YouTube or just study, bro. For a week, you can be ready to start bidding contracts. And I didn't say it. Y'all, he's not getting paid to be here. He's not getting paid to be here. An hour a day, bro, and you can literally get in the game. But y'all ain't here for me though.
That's all it takes.
So it was an absolute pleasure, my man. You got any last words? Anything else that you want to say to anybody? Any words of encouragement? Anything you want anybody to know? Anything about your journey? Like, if you got anything to say, the stage is yours, the floor is yours. Say whatever your heart desires. That's not gonna get me like demonetized on here.
Nothing too political.
I would just say for anybody out there, if you're thinking about, I would say this goes for anything. If you hesitate about doing anything, I would just say just take the risk. Like especially if you're young, like you can fail as many times as you want. You can get back up. One thing I know is that I failed numerous of times, but I'm still good. Like at the end of the day, you're always gonna be good. So just take the risk. Just do it. No reason to be.
Take the risk.
You can
Take
be
the
scared.
risk.
You can be scared, but just do it. Do it scared. Do it whenever you feel
Thank
it.
you. It's okay to be scared, but it's not okay to not do anything.
Exactly.
It's okay to be scared, but it's not okay to not do anything. Chat, clip that. He said take the risk. Clip that.
And
And he said, listen, if you're young, you can fail as much as you want. And if you're old, you've already used up most of your freebie time. So it's like now you guys should be more incentivized to take action and do something than the people that have a bunch of extra time laying around. If you're on the fence about it, what do you have to lose? Take the risk. Literally take the risk. If it doesn't work, okay, so what? Then you move on and then you try the next business model. But I mean, he told you there's contracts out there. Nobody's bidding on them, and the government's giving you the shopping list saying, go get this from this person. And nobody's doing it. Like, it's stuff that's just sitting there. 51% of the contracts, nobody bids on it. Only one person is bidding on it. The stuff is just sitting. The stuff is just sitting out there, dude. Like, we can't. I wish we could do it for you guys. If we could, we probably wouldn't be on YouTube. We'd probably just be building businesses. But the stuff is out there. So, um, yeah, man, it was an absolute pleasure to have my man Lennox on the panel. In 6 months, bro, 6 months. Like you're way further ahead than we were. So I think you're in a really good spot, and I think you gave a lot of good insight, especially for somebody that might be watching this that just left the military or is thinking about leaving the military and doesn't know what they want to do, right? Especially being like a veteran. I think this is a pretty good industry, and they take care of their veterans, and I think there's a lot of information out there on how you guys can get that veteran-owned small business or SDVOSB set aside, and they have contracts set aside specifically for anybody who served not our country because Sam's a British bloke, but our country, me and Lennox's country. There's plenty of people that have served our country might be watching this who the government takes really good care of. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Lennox, it was an absolute pleasure. Like, super glad to have you, my man. Sam, always good to see you, bro. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Not only are we looking forward to your success, but we're sure of it. Let's go print those dollars.
Mm.